The night was calm in the Nevada desert. Stars filled the sky, and the wind moved slowly over the dry land. Soldiers at a nearby military base were watching the radar. It was a normal night, just like every other one. But then something strange happened. A red light appeared on the radar screen. It was coming fast, too fast to be a plane or missile. "Sir, something is entering the atmosphere," a young soldier said. His voice was shaking. "What is it?" the officer asked. "I don't know. It's falling fast, but it's changing direction. It's not a meteor." The object fell from the sky like a fireball. It burned bright as it crashed into the desert sand with a loud explosion. The ground shook. A black cloud rose into the air. For miles, people saw the light and heard the sound. The military quickly sent helicopters and vehicles to the crash site. When they reached the place, they didn't find a simple rock or metal. They found something strange, something not from Earth. A round ship, black and silver, half buried in the sand, was still hot from the fall. It had no wings, no windows, and no sign of engines. Soldiers surrounded it with weapons ready. No one knew what was inside. A team of scientists and top-level officers arrived. They set up lights, tents, and machines. One of the scientists, Dr. Emily Ross, looked at the ship and whispered, "This is not from Earth. This is alien." The officers didn't want panic. They kept the news secret. No media, no internet. Only the highest level of government knew. After 2 hours, the ship made a sound. A low hum, like a heartbeat. The soldiers stepped back. Then, a small door slowly opened with a hiss. Everyone pointed their guns at it. From the smoke, a figure appeared. It was tall, with gray skin, long arms, and black eyes. It looked at the humans but didn't attack. It raised its hand slowly. Soldiers shouted, "Don't move." But it didn't listen. It walked out and fell to its knees. It was injured, bleeding blue blood. The medics checked it but didn't know how to help. It looked weak, like it was dying. Dr. Ross stepped forward. "Let me try to speak to it," she said. The alien looked at her and spoke in a deep, strange voice, but they couldn't understand it. Then it touched a device on its chest. A soft light glowed, and it spoke again, this time in broken English. "I am Scout from Zarnuk Empire." Everyone looked at each other. "A scout? Why are you here?" Dr. Ross asked. The alien's eyes glowed a little. "Observe. Earth. Life. Strength." The officer stepped forward. "Are you alone?" The alien coughed. "Yes, only Scout. Others will come." "When?" the officer asked, his voice tense. The alien looked up at the sky. "Soon." Suddenly, the device on its chest blinked fast. A signal. It was sending a message. "Stop it," an officer shouted. But it was too late. The alien gave a weak smile. "They know. Earth is strong, but not ready." Then it stopped breathing. Silence. Everyone stood still. No one moved. The alien was dead, but it had sent a message. Somewhere far away, someone, or something, now knew about Earth, about humans. The officer turned to Dr. Ross. "We need to prepare. This was just a scout." Dr. Ross nodded. Her hands were cold, and her heart was racing. She looked at the ship again. It was quiet now, but the sky above didn't feel safe anymore. Far above Earth, in deep space, a huge alien fleet received the signal. Tall commanders watched the message on their screens. They saw Earth. They saw the humans. One of them spoke in a harsh voice. "The scout has fallen. But the humans, they fought back. They are stronger than expected." Another alien, taller and older, nodded. "Then we send more. We need to test them again." And just like that, the countdown began. Back on Earth, the military took the alien body and the ship to a secret base. They started studying it, trying to understand its technology. But deep inside, everyone felt the same thing. This was not the end. This was only the beginning. 3 days had passed since the alien scout crashed in the Nevada desert. The world still had no idea. News channels reported a military test to cover up the loud explosion. But inside a hidden underground base, deep under the mountains, top U.S. officials and scientists were working nonstop. The body of the alien scout lay inside a cold glass chamber. Its strange armor had been removed. Its skin was dry, almost like stone. The small device on its chest, the one that had sent the message, was being studied carefully. Dr. Emily Ross had not slept much. Her mind was full of questions. Who were these aliens? What did they want? And what did the scout mean when he said, "They know Earth is strong but not ready"? In the control room, General Hawkins was shouting orders. We must understand that signal. If more are coming, we need to be ready. A young technician called out, "Sir, we've decoded part of the message." "Play it," the general said. The room fell silent. A robotic voice spoke through the speakers. Scout destroyed. Life forms. Intelligent. Reaction. Aggressive. Prepare next phase. Begin test 2. Test 2. Dr. Ross stepped back. They're not invading. Not yet. They're testing us. The general nodded. Like a game. Like hunters watching their prey. Meanwhile, far away in space, deep inside a dark blue nebula, a massive alien command ship floated in silence. It was 10 times larger than any human aircraft carrier. Its surface was black like obsidian, with green lights glowing across its structure. Inside, alien commanders stood around a glowing table. Holograms showed Earth's location, atmosphere, military strength, and population numbers. Commander Valzok, leader of the Zarnuk fleet, watched the data with cold, black eyes. Scout failed. But the humans, they are not simple. Another commander hissed. They killed him. They surrounded him with metal vehicles. They pointed fire machines. Valzok replied, "Good. That means they have spirit. This test will be more exciting." The fleet moved. Back on Earth, in the underground base, the alien ship was behaving strangely. Lights inside the craft began to blink. Machines started turning on by themselves. One of the engineers shouted, "It's powering up." "Is someone inside?" asked the general. "No. We checked it 10 times. Suddenly, a loud hum filled the room. The ship's outer shell began to glow. A projection appeared in the air, an image of a tall alien commander. It looked down at the humans like they were ants. "You killed our scout," it said. "You showed fire. You showed fear. Now show us more." Then the image vanished. Moments later, alarms rang out across the base. Unidentified object entering Earth's atmosphere. "From where?" the general barked. "From space, sir. It's coming down fast. Multiple objects now. 7. No, 10. All over the planet." Dr. Ross's heart dropped. "They're here." But this time, it wasn't warships. The objects were small pods, each landing in different parts of Earth. Forests, cities, deserts, oceans. Inside each pod was a different creature. Not soldiers, but tests. Some were fast. Some were invisible. Some could fly. All of them were dangerous. This was Phase 2. In the forests of Brazil, a giant 6-legged beast ripped through trees, hunting animals and humans alike. In Tokyo, a thin, spider-like machine climbed walls and disappeared in the dark. In the Arctic, something large and glowing moved under the ice. The world started noticing. Videos appeared online. People filmed the strange creatures from a distance. The military tried to stop the news, but it was too late. Panic spread. Back in the base, the general slammed his hand on the table. "This is a coordinated attack." Dr. Ross shook her head. "No, It's still not war. It's another test. They're watching how we react. They're studying us. But why? The general asked. To learn our weaknesses, she whispered. And then one of the scientists gasped. Sir, we picked up another signal. From the moon. Everyone turned. What now? The general said. The scientist turned pale. It's a structure. Something has activated under the moon's surface. It wasn't there before. Dr. Ross looked at the screen. Her voice was calm but cold. They had something waiting on the moon, maybe for years. The general stared at the screen, then turned to his team. Call every major world leader. Tell them to prepare. This is not just America's problem anymore. Outside, in the desert, the alien ship inside the base continued to glow. Its engine was dead, but its eyes, if it had any, were still watching. Because somewhere far above Earth, in the dark sea of stars, the real enemy had just begun to take interest. And humanity. Humanity was just waking up. The room was quiet, but the tension was high. Everyone stared at the big screen. A blurry satellite image showed something under the moon's surface, a strange shape, like a building or a machine. It was hidden deep in a crater, covered by layers of rock. But now it was glowing. Dr. Emily Ross leaned forward. We've been looking at the moon for years. How could we miss this? A young scientist replied. It wasn't there before. Or maybe it was, but sleeping. General Hawkins stood still. Wake up the Space Command. I want eyes on that thing. Fast. Across the world, scientists and space agencies were called in. Satellites were redirected. Telescopes focused. And the image became clear. A black structure, round like a dome, was slowly opening. Light came from inside, green and cold. It wasn't human. It was alien. Inside the hidden dome, something moved. A machine, or maybe a creature, walked out of the darkness. Its body was smooth, metal and bone combined. It had no face, only a glowing circle where its head should be. It began to send a signal. Back on Earth, radios, satellites, even mobile phones started picking up strange sounds. Clicks, pulses, whispers. People thought it was broken signals, but the military knew better. They're talking to each other, Dr. Ross said. The moon structure, the fallen scout ship, the creatures on Earth, they are all connected. In Moscow, a pod had landed near a frozen lake. Russian soldiers surrounded it, but it exploded before they could open it. A shadow-like figure came out, faster than bullets. It moved through the soldiers, invisible and deadly. No one survived. In Africa, a giant insect-like creature walked out of a jungle, roaring. It destroyed 2 villages before it disappeared underground. In New York, strange lights appeared in the sky, followed by loud sounds that made people faint. These were not random attacks. They were experiments. They are studying fear, Dr. Ross said. They want to see what makes us break. But something strange also started happening. In a small town in India, a farmer's son threw a stone at one of the alien creatures. It screamed and ran. In Germany, a firefighter used simple fire to burn a spider machine. It melted. In Canada, hunters in the forest fought one of the beasts with nothing but traps and rifles, and won. The aliens were strong, but they were not gods. They bleed, General Hawkins said. And if they bleed, we can kill them. At that moment, something incredible happened. The fallen scout ship in the underground base made a sound again. The lights blinked. The ship was responding to the signal from the moon. Dr. Ross ran to the control panel. It's opening another message. Everyone gathered around. A hologram appeared, but this time, it was not a message from the enemy. It was a memory recorded by the dead scout. It showed the alien scout landing on a planet full of fire and war. But that planet was not Earth. It was another world, destroyed by the Zarnak Empire. The scout was watching from the sky as the fleet bombed cities, took prisoners, and turned living creatures into machines. Then, in the last part of the memory, the scout spoke. His voice was slow, broken, but clear. Zarnak Empire. Cruel. No honor. I escaped. I wanted to see Earth. Different. Strong. Free. Dr. Ross gasped. He wasn't just a scout. He was a defector. He ran away from them. General Hawkins clenched his fists. That's why they killed him. He came to help us. The ship's final message played. A star map. It showed Earth, and then a blinking red zone. Deep in space. The heart of the Zarnak Empire. Billions of them. But it also showed other stars, marked with blue. What are those? Someone asked. Dr. Ross smiled slightly. Other worlds that fought back. Maybe allies. Maybe survivors. The general nodded. Then we're not alone. Suddenly, all the screens in the base flickered. A new message appeared. It was the alien commanders again. Their faces were sharp, cold, and without feeling. You are brave, but weak. Stop now, and we may let some of you live. General Hawkins stepped forward. Tell them this. We are humans. We don't stop, and we never kneel. Then he turned to his officers. It's time to wake the world up. No more secrets. No more hiding. That night, every country received the full truth. Videos, messages, proof. Leaders came together. Enemies became allies. Plans were made. And high above them, the Black Moon Dome opened fully. Something large, very large, was rising from inside. But this time, Earth would be ready. Because this was not just survival anymore. This was war. The black dome on the moon had fully opened. From inside, something massive began to rise. It was not a ship. It was something else, part machine, part creature, larger than anything humans had ever seen. It stood on 4 legs, tall as mountains, with long arms that stretched like towers. Its head was shaped like a spear, and its chest glowed with green fire. It had no eyes, but it was looking, watching Earth. Back on Earth, the world was finally united. After the message was shared worldwide, there was no more hiding. Countries that once fought each other now stood side by side. The United Nations formed a new group, the Earth Defense Alliance. Every army, every scientist, every engineer began working together. In a huge underground bunker, General Hawkins stood in front of a large screen. Dr. Ross and other scientists sat beside him. Our enemy has placed a war machine on the moon, the general said, but we're not going to wait for it to strike. He pointed at a new image on the screen. A human-built spacecraft, large and fast, armed with nuclear weapons and energy cannons. Its name, Project Titan. 3 weeks ago, this was just a plan, the general continued. Now it's our best chance. All across the world, humans were building weapons like never before. Engineers in Japan created high-speed drones with EMP blasts. In the US, scientists developed smart bullets that could follow invisible targets. Germany made powerful armored suits. China built space cannons that could shoot from orbit. But the biggest weapon of all was the spirit of humanity. The will to fight. The will to survive. While the moon beast stood silent, the alien creatures on Earth became more aggressive. They started attacking in groups. In Mexico, flying machines dropped poison dust on cities. In France, underground monsters pulled people from their homes. In Egypt, a giant snake-like robot moved across the desert, destroying everything in its path. But humans didn't run anymore. They fought. In Mexico, pilots flew old jets straight into the flying machines. In France, fire squads used homemade bombs to trap and burn the tunnel beasts. In Egypt, soldiers rode tanks into the desert, firing with everything they had. People were scared, but they stood their ground. In a small town in Pakistan, a 16-year-old boy used a hacked radio to block an alien signal. In Nigeria, a group of farmers captured one of the spider machines using nets and fire. In Australia, Scientists used sound waves to confuse the invisible creatures and track them. Everywhere, humans adapted. They learned. They hit back. Inside the underground base, Dr. Ross found something important. She had been studying the scout's last message again and noticed a hidden signal. It wasn't a weapon. It was a warning. The Zarnuk Empire, she said, has one weakness. They don't understand chaos. They expect logic. They plan everything. But they can't predict us. General Hawkins smiled. Good. Let's show them how dangerous chaos can be. 3 days later, Project Titan was ready. It stood tall on a special launch pad in the desert, shining like silver under the sun. The crew was mixed. Americans, Russians, Indians, Japanese, Arabs, Africans, and more. They were not just astronauts. They were soldiers, engineers, and warriors. The launch was watched by the entire planet. Today, General Hawkins said, "We strike first." The rocket engines roared, and Titan flew into the sky. As it reached space, alien sensors picked it up. The moon beast turned its head. Its chest began to glow brighter. It was waking up. Inside Titan, Captain Ray Alvarez gave the order. Full speed. Prepare weapons. Target the legs. Titan flew fast, dodging small alien drones. It reached the moon in minutes. The moon beast fired green beams, but Titan's shields held strong. Then the first strike. Titan fired 2 nuclear warheads at the creature's leg. The explosion shook the moon. Dust flew into space. One of the beast's legs cracked, but it didn't fall. It's still standing. Someone shouted. Captain Ray yelled. Again. Hit the joints. Titan turned and fired energy cannons. Blue bolts of light slammed into the creature's knee. This time, the leg broke. The monster stumbled and let out a soundless roar. It began to fall. But before it hit the ground, a warning light flashed on Titan's screen. Unknown signal detected. From deep space. Dr. Ross, watching from Earth, stared in shock. It's not just one. There's more coming. Satellites showed movement beyond the solar system. Ships, dozens of them, huge and dark, were entering at high speed. The real invasion had begun. But on the moon, as the giant beast fell to the ground, humans cheered. Titan had struck first. Earth had won the first real battle. And now, they were ready for the war. The moon beast lay broken on the moon's surface. Its legs were crushed, its glowing chest dark. Project Titan hovered above, still smoking from battle. The crew cheered, but their smiles didn't last long. New signals had appeared, dozens of them, coming fast from deep space. On Earth, the mood changed. News channels showed the sky. People looked up, knowing that something big was coming. Dr. Ross stood in the command center, staring at the new data. They're not just ships, she whispered. They're war fleets, real invasion fleets. General Hawkins didn't blink. How long? 5 days, she said. Maybe less. The alien ships were huge, each one the size of a city. They'd moved together in perfect lines, like a dark swarm. These were not scouts or small tests. This was the Zarnuk Empire itself. But something strange happened that night. A new signal was picked up, coming from far away, outside the solar system. It was not from the Zarnuk. It was something else. The signal was old but strong, full of clicks and tones. It repeated the same message over and over. The translation came slowly. We saw your fire. We saw your stand. You are not alone. Everyone in the command room froze. Dr. Ross leaned forward. Someone else is out there. The message continued. We were also hunted by the Zarnuk. We survived. Now we return. Hold the line. Help is coming. General Hawkins stood straight. Who are they? We don't know yet, said Dr. Ross. But they saw what we did. They saw us fight. All across the world, people heard the news. A new hope lit up in their hearts. The Earth Defense Alliance sent a return message using every satellite, every space antenna. We will hold. Come fast. The next few days were the hardest in human history. The skies above Earth filled with activity. Giant cannons were placed on mountaintops. Cities built energy shields. Space mines were launched into orbit. Thousands of fighter jets were ready. Submarines hid in oceans, waiting. In every country, people worked day and night. Children helped move supplies. Old people gave their homes for soldiers to stay. Humanity became one army. Even Project Titan returned to Earth to reload. But the enemy was close now. The Zarnak fleet entered the solar system like a black storm. Their ships blotted out stars. They moved without sound, without fear. Their leader, Supreme Commander Zeltor, sat inside a throne of bones and metal. His eyes were cold. His voice was full of hate. These humans, they fight too much, he said. Let us end their hope. The first wave began. Over Earth, small alien ships dropped from orbit like rain. Hundreds of them. They attacked space stations, satellites, anything in their path. Human jets rose into the sky. Missiles flew. The air became fire. In space, Project Titan led the defense. Its cannons blasted enemy ships, breaking them into pieces. But for every one destroyed, 5 more came. Dr. Ross watched from the underground base. It's too much. We can't stop all of them. But just when things seemed hopeless, another signal arrived. Not a message this time, but ships. Bright, white ships appeared near the edge of the solar system. They were smooth and silent, shaped like birds, glowing with blue light. And behind them, more ships, hundreds of them. Who are they? The general asked. The answer came from the screen. We are the survivors of the world Zarnak destroyed. You are the first to fight back. We will fight with you. All across Earth, cheers exploded. Humanity was not alone anymore. The new allies were called the Alari, tall, silver-skinned beings with deep black eyes. They had no weapons at first. The Zarnak had taken everything from them. But they brought knowledge. They helped humans upgrade their tech. They shared shield systems, energy weapons, and star maps. Together, Earth and Alari launched a counterattack. In space, Titan flew beside the Alari flagships. Human and alien fighters flew in the same lines. Cannons fired. Explosions lit up the dark. One by one, the Zarnak ships began to fall. But the enemy was not done. Zeltor sent his final wave. A superweapon, something large and strange, appeared from the back of the Zarnak fleet. It was like the black weapon floated near Saturn, slow and massive. It looked like a moon, but it was not natural. Its surface was smooth, like dark glass. Inside, something moved. Energy, red and violent, spinning like a storm. This was the Zarnak's final weapon. A planet killer. One blast from it could destroy Earth in seconds. Project Titan and the Alari flagship flew as fast as they could, heading straight for it. Captain Ray stood on Titan's bridge. His face was hard. We stopped that thing here. If it fires, we lose everything. Beside him, an Alari commander named Vera touched a glowing panel. Its energy core is waking up. We have minutes, not hours. On Earth, the skies were quiet, but everyone watched. From big cities to small villages, people sat in front of screens. Children held hands. Parents prayed. Soldiers checked their weapons again and again. In the underground command base, General Hawkins gave the order. Full broadcast. Let everyone hear this. Dr. Ross stepped in front of the camera. Her voice was calm but strong. We are about to face the worst weapon the enemy has, but we are not afraid. We are not weak. We are ready. Above Earth, human and Alari ships began to form a wall. Hundreds of them. They faced the planet killer like ants facing a mountain. And then it fired. A red beam, wide as a river, shot out of the weapon's core. It moved fast, cutting through space like a sword. One Alari cruiser exploded instantly. A second ship was ripped apart. But the wall held. Titan flew above the beam and fired all its weapons. Missiles, lasers, cannons, all hit the weapon's surface at once. Small explosions cracked its outer shell. Vera called out, "It's not enough. We need to hit the core." Captain Ray shouted, "Then we go inside." Titan turned sharply and flew toward a large hole that had opened on the weapon's side. Behind it, smaller human ships followed. They were ready to give everything. Inside the weapon, it was like flying through a storm. Red lightning flashed. Metal arms moved like tentacles. One fighter was crushed instantly. Another lost its wing and crashed. But Titan kept going. They reached the core, a glowing sphere of pure energy, spinning fast. It was protected by a ring of shields. Dr. Ross, watching through the Titan cameras, spoke through the radio. "If we can overload it, the weapon will collapse. But you have to stay close to fire the core. And you won't survive." The crew went silent. Then Captain Ray nodded. "Understood." But before he could give the order, Vera stepped forward. "Let me do it. My ship is faster, smaller. We lost our home to the Zarnak. Let me help save yours." Ray looked at her, then nodded slowly. "Thank you." Vera turned and ran to her fighter. It launched from Titan, flew straight to the core, and dropped its final bomb, a fusion pulse, made by human and Alari tech together. It hit. The core flashed once, twice, then exploded. The planet killer began to shake. Cracks appeared across its surface. Fire poured out. Titan turned and flew out just in time, chased by the blast. Behind them, the planet killer broke apart like glass, piece by piece, until it vanished in a cloud of red dust. The human Alari fleet cheered. On Earth, people screamed with joy. Strangers hugged. Soldiers cried. A new hope filled the air. But not everyone was cheering. On the Zarnak command ship, Supreme Commander Zeltor stared at the broken pieces of his great weapon. His face was still, but his voice was ice. They were supposed to break. Instead, they rise. A younger Zarnak officer spoke. "What now, Commander?" Zeltor stood. "Now, we punish them with everything." He pressed a button. A new signal left the command ship, fast and sharp. In deep space, something woke up. Another fleet, a larger one, hidden, waiting. And something worse, a creature. Not a machine, not a soldier. Something ancient, something alive. Its eyes opened, and stars dimmed around it. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Dr. Ross noticed something strange in the final energy reading from the weapon. She stared at her screen, confused. "This doesn't make sense." General Hawkins turned to her. "What is it?" "That planet killer. It wasn't built to destroy Earth," she said slowly. "It was built to change it, to reshape it." "Into what?" Dr. Ross's face turned pale. "Into something they could live on." Silence fell in the room. It was never just about war. It was about taking Earth. And now, the true enemy was finally coming. But humanity had done something the Zarnak never expected. They had survived. They had united. And they had killed a god machine. Now, they were ready to strike back. The stars were silent, but the universe was not at peace. After the destruction of the planet killer, the Zarnak Empire was furious. Supreme Commander Zeltor had called his final weapon, something hidden for thousands of years. It was not just a ship, it was alive. It was called the Devourer, a creature the size of a small planet, made of flesh and machine, covered in black armor and glowing scars. Its mouth was wide enough to swallow moons. It moved through space like a shadow, bending gravity with every breath. The Devourer was created to destroy civilizations completely, not just their people, but their memory, their history, their future. Now, it was coming for Earth. On the human side, there was no fear. Not anymore. Humanity had changed. They were not just fighting to survive. They were fighting to win. General Hawkins stood before the Earth Defense Council. "We hit first. We don't wait for this thing to come to us," he said. "We've shown the galaxy we're not weak. Now we show them we're the storm." The humans and Alari formed a new united fleet. They called it the Flameborn Armada. Hundreds of ships, upgraded weapons, faster engines, smart armor, energy shields. At the center of it all, Project Titan, repaired and more powerful than ever. Captain Ray and Dr. Ross led the charge. The Alari commander Vera had died to save Earth, but her name was now written on every ship. The Flameborn Armada left Earth's orbit and flew toward the edge of the solar system. They met the enemy between Jupiter and Neptune. The Devourer was already there, slowly pulling energy from Jupiter's storms, growing stronger. Zeltor's voice echoed across the radio. "You are ants standing before a god. You will burn." Captain Ray replied, calm and steady. "We are not ants. We are fire." And then the war began. The sky turned red and white with explosions. Human ships flew in impossible patterns, dodging beams, launching smart missiles. Alari cruisers dropped shield domes to protect allies. The Devourer screamed, a sound so loud it made the stars shake. Its mouth opened, pulling in ships with gravity waves. One human carrier was lost, but the fleet kept pushing forward. Dr. Ross, aboard Titan, discovered something. The creature has a brain core, right in the center. If we hit that, we can kill it. Then we hit it, Ray said, no matter the cost. Titan led 5 ships into the mouth of the Devourer. It was like flying into a nightmare. Flesh and metal, smoke and sparks. Inside, the walls moved. The air was hot. 3 ships were lost immediately, but Titan flew deeper. Finally, they reached the core. It was huge, beating like a heart, glowing with dark light. "We only have one shot," Dr. Ross said, "and we can't escape after we fire." Ray looked at his crew. No one spoke. No one turned away. Then a voice came from outside. "This is Alari ship Phoenix 9. We will fire with you." Another voice. "This is Hammer 1 from Earth. We'll cover your escape." Ship after ship answered. All of them were ready. Ray smiled. "Then let's give them something to remember." They fired. Everything went white. For a moment, there was silence. Then, light. Explosion. Energy burst across space like a sun being born. The Devourer stopped moving. Its eyes faded. Its mouth closed. And it died. On Earth, people held their breath. Then cheers, screams, tears. They had done it. They had killed a god. Weeks later, the Zarnuk Empire collapsed. Without its strongest weapons, its control over other worlds ended. Planets rose up. Slaves broke chains. Colonies rebelled. The galaxy changed. And at the center of that change was Earth. Humans were no longer seen as weak creatures. They were something new, something terrifying, something powerful. A message was sent across the stars in every language. We are humanity. We are not afraid. We are not finished. We are just getting started. In a distant system, a group of peaceful species watched the message. One turned to the others. "That was only a scout?" he asked. "Yes," said another. And Earth just made history. Back on Earth, Captain Ray stood at a memorial. Vera's name was carved in the stone, beside the names of every hero who had fallen. Dr. Ross stood beside him. "Do you think it's over?" Ray looked up at the sky. "No," he said, "but next time, they'll think twice before picking a fight with us." And above them, in the night sky, a new light appeared. A human ship going beyond the solar system, exploring, watching, ready. Because now the galaxy knew. Humanity fights back. Humanity adapts. Humanity wins. And this was only the beginning.